Alright, what is good, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mass Ranker back again with another ranking, and today we are doing a ranking for all of the Tires characters. That's right, just finished reviewing it. It's actually been a day since I reviewed Season 3, and there are going to be spoilers for this video because, yeah, this is Tire Season 3 just came out, so it's fairly new, and so there are going to be spoilers for this video for certain characters, and yeah, there's no real other background to give, so let us just get into it. Starting off with this guy. I think his name was Dogman. He is a radio show host in one of the episodes that Will and Shane go to. So he's just kind of like this obnoxious radio show host. I did not really care for it. We'll go D for Dogman, I guess. Didn't care for him too much. Dave, one of my favorite characters. I thought that he was great. I think we're doing this in media context, we're not doing overall context, so I will give him S tier. I thought that he was very funny, very entertaining, where it's like at first he's like this big guy in the industry. It's like he's kind of the one in charge, like compared to Will, I guess. He's like very egotistical, I guess, but then over the course of the show, it's like he realizes that everyone hates him and stuff, and he realizes that he has like a problem with his sex addiction and stuff like that, and so he does try to improve himself, and then by the end of Season 3, he throws that away and realizes that he didn't really have a problem, and so, I don't know, I like he gets into a lot of funny antics that usually have to do with him battling his temptations, which I think he's entertaining, very funny character, a lot of good scenes, and so, yeah, I think that Stavros Halkias does a great job with the character as well, so, yeah, S tier, solid S tier. This is Thomas Hayden Church's character, Phil. I would give him probably, I don't know, he was good in Season 2. I did like his role in Season 2 was good, I guess, where it's like he was the one that was like coming in to buy Valley Forge Auto Center, and Shane was like he didn't want that to happen. He was saying like, oh, you know, after he has one bad month, he's gonna just sell the business, and in Season 3, they focused way too much on like his relationship with Bonnie, which I just didn't care for as much, as well as like him getting upset at Will because he couldn't fire this one dude, and besides that, I know the business is like failing, and so he just like there's kind of confrontation between him and Will, so that there wasn't as much in Season 2. So I don't know, he's fine. I think that Thomas Hayden Church like does a great job acting with the character. He's got his good moments, so I'll give him B tier, but definitely I don't know. I think Season 3 brought him down a bit for me, I would say. This is Tommy, one of the Italians. He's funny. I think he is. Yeah, he's good. He's got entertaining moments. He's not like a regular character. He doesn't show up too often, but him as well as Andy, I'm pretty sure his name is. I would give both of them about the same level. I would probably give them like, not A tier, but I'd give them like B tier just because they don't show. If they showed up a bit more, maybe they would be A tier because they got pretty funny scenes, I would say. But yeah, they don't show. I think in Season 3 they show up like maybe once or twice towards the end, like with the whole side plot going on with Cal and Frank and the FBI van that's like spying on them. So yeah, they're good, but honestly they could use some more screen time, I'll say. I like Cal. He feels very, I don't know, shy, I feel like, kind of, where he's not as like eccentric as Shane or Will. He's like a lot more soft-spoken, maybe I want to say. So he's good though. I like him. He is usually just dealing with something that has to do with like, he's like the most mechanic out of all of them, where it's like he's the one that actually deals with the cars the most, where in Season 3 he's dealing with the whole fiasco with Frank's cars. Season 2 he is like working on his own car that he ended up buying from the Italians. Season 1 I don't remember much of what he did. Overall, he's good. I like him. I would probably just give him B tier though. We'll do Cecil at the end, by the way. Yeah, I'm hoping to see a bit more of this character, like a bit more character development, I would say. This kid, as well as Where Is His Friend, these two, they were fine for their one episode, just kind of like these teenagers that Shane had to like mentor for the day, and so I did think that they were all right. Not great characters, but decent, I would say. I'll go like solid C tier, I'd say. Kyla, I think that Kyla was good. I would give her probably, similar to Cal, she's like definitely has a lot less screen time compared to characters like Shane or Will, but I would definitely say that she was still good. She's got like some certain episodes, like she's a bit more of a focus in like Season 3, for example, with a women's business episode, as well as her high school volleyball team reunion episode. So I think she's fine, but definitely she could also use some more of like character focus, similar to Cal, where they do feel like they're a bit more relegated to the background. And I would say I'm going to give Cal a bit higher. I would say I'm going to give Kyla like C tier. She's got like funny moments and stuff, but I think that Cal's storylines I just like a bit more compared to what's going on with Kyla, where it is like, I don't know, the stuff with her high school reunion and stuff, as well as the women's day business. It felt like it wasn't as interesting as like just the stuff that went on with Cal. I feel like with his car stuff and the FBI stuff, I thought that was a bit more entertaining, I would say. So, but still, Kyla's definitely got her good moments of C tier. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. She's like a high C tier to a low B tier, so I'm being kind of harsh with C tier, I feel like, but we'll do Cecil at the end, it'll get better. Pete Seidel, I would give Pete probably a solid, I know, not S tier, I feel like, because he doesn't show up as much as Dave, I feel like, but I do still think that he is very entertaining. I'm going to give him probably, I will give him S tier because he is just like similar to Dave. He's like Dave, but without morals, where he is just very much as well into the life of like hookers and strip clubs and stuff. But he just like has no shame about it. So yeah, he's pretty entertaining. He ends up causing like a lot of the conflict in season 2 between Ryan and Will, as well as in season 3. He is pretty good with where he's like the Taka Tires. He's like working for them then in season 3, and so I think it's just entertaining anytime he's around. I would say similar to Dave, so solid S tier for him as well. Shane, I'm going to give him A tier. I'm going to say I think that he is good. Definitely, I think Shane Gillis is like a very entertaining performer, and I think that the character of Shane is pretty much, it does feel pretty similar to the actual person. I mean, I don't really follow Shane Gillis too often, but from what like the stuff I've seen of Shane Gillis, it does pretty much feel like he's just playing himself kind of in the show, and he's funny. He's definitely got entertaining stuff. I will say the only thing that brings him down for me is I would give him S tier if it was probably just season 1 and maybe season 2 to an extent, but in season 2 they start way too much focusing on like Shane's relationships, where now it's like it kind of feels like it's the only thing we're focusing on in terms of Shane. So I do kind of wish we would get back to a bit more of maybe other aspects of maybe him trying to pursue like an actual career in the tire industry, like moving up the ranks maybe, or I don't know, it's just that I feel like he does well when he's like interacting with like the other workers like Cal or Kyla, as well as interacting with like customers and stuff. So I kind of wish we got to see a bit more of that in season 3 and less so of just him interacting with different like just relationship drama with him. So, but still a solid A tier. Will, I would also give Will A tier. I would say I think that he, similar to Shane, he was very good in the first season and the second season, but I do think season 3 does kind of bring him down, where they pretty much focus on like this one aspect of not just like that one aspect, like that definitely he's got in the earlier episodes. He's like very prominent in the women's business episode, but they do focus a bit too much, I feel like, on his past, where it's like he got fired from the Soul job and he has regrets about not joining his friend Taylor for his business venture that he ended up starting, and then so they focus a bit too much on that, it feels like, as well as like he leaves for a bit for a time. I think there was like an episode that he just wasn't in because he was like being depressed and stuff. So I don't know, the direction that they take his character, there's also like him fighting with Phil, but it kind of feels like we don't have a strong basis for the fight because he just wasn't willing to fire Mike Weir, and he also just was speaking with Shane about stuff that I don't want to get into. So yeah, but anyway, not an S tier because, again, in season 3, I just don't like him as much as he was in season 1 or 2, but I would still say he is a solid A tier, very entertaining in a lot of the earlier seasons. He's honestly, I think that his actor, I think his name is like Steve Gerben or something like that, he is probably my favorite performer, even more so a bit more than Shane, because Shane is like kind of playing himself, it feels like, but he specifically, maybe this is, I've never seen this actor like outside of the show, but I would definitely say like I really like the way he plays Will, where it does feel like this very kind of, it's like this nice dude, but at the same time he is kind of awkward about stuff. It's like he stumbles on his words and stuff, so I think he does like a really good job with the performance, so solid A tier. Okay, now that was most of the main cast, and we're going to get into a lot of the side characters, and so I might just rapid fire some of these. This is the news reporter guy. I'll give him C tier. I did like the aspect of him actually helping out. He does like, he's in the first episode, and then he's like not in the rest of the show, but then I think towards season 2 or 3 he does end up returning. I think it was season 2. It's like he does end up helping them out by writing a piece about True Thread tires and how it's like they're hurting the little guy business, and like they're being bribed and stuff. So he does end up helping them out in that aspect. So I did like that, of like a bit of a, not a redemption, like he was never a bad character. It's just that in the first, he's kind of like in an antagonistic role in the first episode, where he is kind of, he is like blackmailing the tire, and he's blackmailing Valley Forge Auto Center to buy ad space, so that way, because otherwise he was going to write like a bad review about them, which they probably deserve. So yeah, solid C tier, I'd say. Arnold, I think his name was, D/F tier. He's barely a character. His whole, like, he was in one episode, he ends up dying. I think there's a post-credit scene where they imply that he went to January 6th, and so yeah, but besides that, it was just the one episode. I think he's kind of a racist dude, and he ended up dying in that episode, and so he's not really, just D/F tier. This is George. He was in like one of the earlier episodes, and then he's in an episode later on where he gets like hooked on cocaine. And besides that, he is, I think, still current. I'm not sure if he's still working for the Italians, but the last time we saw him, he was working for the Italians. So I would say fine, like he was all right in his episode, solid C tier, I would say, but yeah, not that prominent. This is, okay, you can't see the full dude, but he is the dude that just was, I think he works next to Valley Forge Auto Center, and he was in the episode with, I think, the bikini car wash, and he ended up helping when Shane had to hide the women, he brought them to his shop, I guess. so not that memorable. You can barely see him here, but anyway. This is a dude that just works at he works at one of the stores. This is Lisa. She was having an affair with Dave. Don't really care for her. Reagan, I don't really care for her. She's just kind of someone that Will slept with, and so it felt like her inclusion in the show was just to kind of elevate Will's character, I guess, to give him like some status when it comes to women. And besides that, she does show up in season 3 as well. Like she does make a bit of cameo. She's also in like season 2 as well. She like shows up every now and then for like a brief, like Reagan is here once again. So I don't really care for her. She doesn't really do too much except for like sleep with Will. So yeah, just D/here. This is a person I think Will kind of liked in the bikini car wash episode, and then he realized that she had kids and a husband. I'm pretty sure. So that didn't go anywhere. So D/here. This is Anthony. I'm pretty sure his name is. I think. Yeah, he just worked on some visuals for a presentation that Will was making in one episode, not that memorable. I included a lot of characters here. I was like debating on like what characters I should include, what characters I should not include. I had to make this entire tier list, by the way, by myself. Like there was no online tier list, so I had to actually go through the effort of collecting each individual image of the characters. So yeah, maybe I went a bit overboard. I include some characters that are just not that important, but still, it would have, if I didn't include all these side characters, it would have probably just been like the main cast of characters that shows up in, like, a lot of these are just like one-off characters or characters that are not that prominent, so I just decided to include them anyway. Lydia, I think that's her name. I would give her probably, I like to roll, I guess, as like this antagonistic kind of character that is threatening to buy out the Valley Forge Auto Center, but her character is kind of meant to be a bit hateable and unlikable, so just D/here. For some reason, I don't know why, I feel like every character that's named Lydia, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like every character that I hear, that I see named Lydia is always like in this position of like this businesswoman that is trying to screw over the main characters. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, in Breaking Bad also there was that villain, that woman Lydia that I think was working against Walter, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, anyway, continuing, this is the person from the bikini car wash that Shane likes. He thought she was the most attractive, and then she accidentally like bangs her head, and so she was out of commission for the rest of the episode. Don't really care for her. D/here. John, I thought he was all right. Played like a good role, I guess, as like the father of Will, not really believing in him, and ultimately like wants what's best for the shop, wants what's best for Will and stuff. He's all right. His role is fine. I give him like C-tier, I would say. This is the woman that Will went and spoke with at the bank to get a loan. Don't really care for her, not that important. This is that random customer that was like just, he was expecting like free stuff because he was being inconvenienced. Don't really care for him. This is the woman. She was in the HR episode. I thought that the episode was just a fun episode, and I guess her character was very involved in it, so I'll give her B-tier. Yeah, she was good, I guess. Like she was trying to like teach everyone about like respectful workplace behavior and stuff, and no one would listen to her, and she just like ended up translating a lot of the stuff, and she was just like, okay, we need to get through this, I guess. So, and ultimately she slaps Barb. So yeah, I thought her inclusion was fun in that one episode, so B-tier. Barb, I would give Barb, she's not that prominent, to be honest. She's only in like a few instances where we see her upset with Dave, and then after that she is not really, I don't remember much of what she does in the show, except in season 3 she does show up a bit more, where she is kind of like, Dave is trying to portray himself as like being better and a changed man and stuff, and then by the end he catches her cheating on him, and then she like speaks to him and say like, oh, I didn't want you to turn into like an altar boy or whatever, I just wanted you to like she basically said that was like she liked how he was when he was still very much into hookers and doing drugs and stuff, and so yeah, she was fine. I give her like, we'll go B-tier for Barb, I guess. That seems fair, I guess. Jared, don't care about him. None of the other characters. He's like, there's always that one character I feel like in a sitcom where it's just that one character that like none of the other characters really respect. It's like every kind of sitcom has that one character, and Jared is that character in this instance. So yeah, I don't really care for him too much. This is, I think his name is like DeRosa or something like that. He's fine. He's like one of the, out of all the other like Valley Forge Auto Center workers that are not prominent characters, he is the one that I feel like is the one we see the most of, and so he is the most memorable out of all of them. So I would give him probably B-tier, like more memorable than this guy or Lisa. So solid B-tier. He had some good lines, I would say. Kelly, I did not, her character was fine at first, but I just like didn't really like the whole direction that the relationship between her and Shane went, where all of a sudden she's like very close with Ollie, which was fine, but then it led to like there were being like a miscommunication, which led to them breaking up, and then she does actually go with Ollie, and it's just, that whole plot seemed messy. So I'll give her like C-tier. She was fine she was like, she decently prominent in season 2. All right, relationship didn't really go anywhere. I'm being generous by giving her C-tier, I feel like. Ryan, I liked Ryan. I would say that he was definitely good in. Yeah, he was in season 2. I don't think he's actually in season 3, but I liked his role in season 2 of like this guy that actually becomes kind of friends with Will, and then Will ends up quote unquote betraying him, and so he feels like very heartbroken by the betrayal from Will, and so he does end up like kind of leading into trying to take down Valley Forge Auto Center, that like similar to what Pete is trying to do, but then he's like still kind of a good guy at heart, and so he doesn't really fully, like when he's like trying to not take it too far with what Pete's doing. So I liked his addition. I would give him like, we'll go B tier, not like an A tier character, but still I thought it was pretty good for season 2. I would say this dude, I know this actor, I forgot his name, but I've seen him before. I think he was the villain in Starsky and Hutch, if I'm not mistaken, the 2004 movie that I saw. And he's just a dude that like Shane meets at a bar that's like, I guess, kind of wise and just gives Shane some advice about some stuff. I don't really care for him. He wasn't that entertaining, I would say, so just D/up here. This is the Brock Lesnar, I think his name, was that his name? Or it was like Brock something. Am I mixing that up with something else? Maybe that's like a wrestler name or something like that. Let me see here. Tires, Brock Majors. Who's Lesnar then? Lesnar. I think of like a wrestler or something like that. Who is this guy? Oh, it is a wrestler. Okay. Yeah. So Brock Majors, this was the very much like the alpha male kind of dude, buy my course and you'll stop being such a bitch. And so he's like just telling people how to get, quote unquote, get their life together, but it's just him insulting people. So yeah, not a good dude. I'm not, me and most people aren't really big fans of like that alpha male type of character that's just very much just insults people and doesn't really help people in any way. So this dude, he was a cop that showed up. He was like a friend of Shane's, I think, and he just kind of scared off some teens. So he's not out of all the characters here, he's one of the least memorable ones. So just D/up here. This is the other host of the radio show. I also don't really care for him. He was just, again, his whole thing was that they were kind of obnoxious on the radio show. So this dude looks like Lex Luthor. Like this straight up looks like the dude that played Lex Luthor in the new Superman movie. So I thought he was fine. He was kind of a more memorable character. I didn't like C tier. Just someone that Dave was afraid of, and then ultimately he doesn't end up hurting Dave. He actually when he sees that his car window got broke, he tracks down the guy that broke his window, and then he makes him pay for it. So fine character, C tier. Ollie, don't really care for him. Again, very involved with the whole Kelly side of things, so it felt very messy. It felt just kind of awkward watching it. Didn't care for him too much. He was just very close with Kelly, and then he ends up actually getting with her after Kelly and Shane break up. It's messy relationship stuff. I didn't really care for that much. Is the dude that Shane and Will ended up hiring to play at the Revolutionary War-themed party that they were having, and he ends up just playing some, I don't know how to describe it. He played what's the word? Not punk, but the genre that's against the establishment. That kind of, I forgot what it's called. That word's leaving me. I feel like that's not a hard word to come up with. Against the not alternative, I don't know. He played very much against the fuck the establishment and stuff like that. So I would give him, I didn't really care for him too much. The whole thing was that he did just end up Will was being mean to him, yeah. So it is justified, I guess. It is somewhat justified of what he was doing, but yeah, I didn't care for him that much. Ron Dobbins, he was I don't know. He was in one episode in season 2. He was a NASCAR driver that ended up losing all the respect that he had in his life because he became fallen hero. So I don't know how to describe him, but he was a big name, and then it's he got into the classic story, alcohol, the rise and the fall, that kind of thing. So he is alcoholic, he's divorced and stuff, he's being sued, his life went downhill after, I guess, he peaked in NASCAR back in the 70s or something like that. So I would give him probably, I don't really care for him, honestly. He does end up also breaking Cal's car, so I do feel kind of bad for Cal. And he does just kind of, I just don't really care for him that much, so he's set up here. This is the woman that Phil ends up hiring to assess the business to see how much it's worth at the end of season 2, I'm pretty sure. And I think she ended up sleeping with Dave, so I don't really care for her too much. She's not that prominent. We're just an obstacle that is a plot device of anything, just someone that Will needs to fire, he doesn't end up firing, and then eventually Phil has to fire him. Just he's meant to create conflict that I didn't really care for. This is the Secret Chopper. I thought that she was all right. I would say she was. I'll go B tier. I liked her role in the episode. I thought that was like one of the best episodes of season 3, like the Secret Chopper episode. And so she was just like going around different shops, trying to test the employees. She goes to Will's shop. Will is actually like a good employee. So I thought that would have been interesting to see if like a relationship developed from that, but nothing ended up coming from that. But even so, I thought it was a good episode where I thought that her role in it was pretty good as well. So B tier. Okay, these are the women from the Women's Day Conference. Let's see here. I don't really care for most of them. These ones are like kind of meant to be, I don't know what her role was, but she was meant to be kind of unlikable. She was like a photographer that was there. Also, like, they're all like, they hate each other, but at the same time, they're like best friends and stuff. So she also was Nicole. Like, she was just someone, I think her husband was sleeping with her or something like that. These two, I think, were a bit better. I would give this one C tier. This one also probably C tier. I think that they were kind of like, became like girlfriends with Will, like very much. They were like gossiping. It felt like very, very much high school girl stuff, which I thought was like fun for Will for that episode. So C tier for their involvement with that. Okay, final row. Frank, he was all right. He was like this dude that was kind of socially awkward. I think he was like autistic or something, and he wants to be friends with Cal. Cal doesn't really want to be friends with him. Eventually, later on, it's revealed that like he was an FBI informant. So wondering what's going to happen if he will show up in season 4. I would give him probably for now just, he was all right. I'll give him like C tier, I'll say. Taylor, he was fine. He was just a dude that like kind of came into the series in order to like bring up Will's, there's a character here named Mike, Will's regrets. Like, Will has regrets about not joining the business venture that Taylor ends up coming up with, that Taylor wanted initially Will to be a part of. And so eventually, like, Will thinks that Taylor was offering him a job. He wasn't actually offering him a job. He was just like offering to work together for promotional material or something like that. So he was all right. I would give him probably, he seems like a very nice dude. I'd give him like C tier though. He's not, he's important, I guess, but not, I didn't care for him too much. This is Bonnie. I did not really like her. She, out of all the characters, she was, I don't know, she's like very prominent in season 3. I just don't care for any like the hippie spiritual stuff that she was involved with. It was very, I don't know, just it felt very boring, I would say. There were some good moments with it, but it just, overall, I didn't really care for it, and she was like the one that was forefronting all of it that I just, so this was her assistant. That was also like her I don't know, he was the one that was like running the meditation session, so I don't really care for him either. D/F tier. Lucy, I would give her, so she is going to probably be pretty prominent in season 4 when she, like, because at the end of season 3, Shane did get her pregnant, I guess, so interesting to see what is going to become of her character. It's like this person that Shane meets at a bar. They end up sleeping together, but then Shane kind of realizes that they're not very compatible because she is more liberal than him, who I guess he's more, I don't know, more right-leaning, I guess. So he realizes that they're probably not going to get along well, and so they shouldn't like pursue a relationship or anything like that. But then she's still kind of a bit hung up on him, and she still kind of wants to be with him, and so they do interact a few times after that. Like, very much they get into fights and they're upset with each other. But by the end of the season, it's like they are kind of like back together now that she is pregnant. I am wondering if maybe like she lied about it. Like, maybe she is just very psychotic and she's just lying about the pregnancy tests in order to like get. I don't think so. I don't think that would be the case, because I think we did see her crying on her bed before Shane even arrived. So I think it is genuine. But it's just like a possibility. I thought of like, oh, maybe she is faking it. I could see that being a possibility, but I don't think that is going to be the case. So I would say I think good. I want to see more of like what happens with their characters. So for now, I'll just say B tier. Interesting, definitely. With out of all the relationship stuff involved with Shane, I guess this is like so far the most interesting development, I guess. So solid B tier, I'll give her. This is her sister, who I think her name is like Kara. So we'll go see for Kara. She's fine. She just like kind of, I don't know, makes small talk with Shane, and then she ends up seeing Shane on a date with Jill, and she was the babysitter of Jill. So she ends up like, from that, she tells Lucy about the fact that Shane was on a date with someone else. So she's all right. I don't have much thoughts about her, but she was fine. So C tier. This is Jill. I would give her probably, I don't really care for her. She's just like this person that was introduced. She's like, oh, apparently Shane just saw her Instagram. It was a person they knew in high school. They go on, like, she ends up meeting him in person. It's a date. It felt like very just not well developed. I kind of thought, I didn't really care for he's like, he sees her on Instagram. He wants to message her. He does message her. She ends up showing up to his work. They go on a date. It wasn't that interesting of a date. Maybe they bonded, but then afterwards I don't know, she just doesn't want to like continue the relationship because she kind of like views Shane as a mess. And so, yeah, that didn't end up going anywhere really. So don't care for her. Bobby Lee's character, his name was, I don't remember what his name was, but he was the like the drunk businessman that was with Dave and Pete that was like trying to make the deal for Taka Taka tires. I would give him, I don't know, I didn't care for him too much. He was all right. I'll go like C tier. Yeah, I liked him probably in the strip club. That was a funny scene where he was like drunk and like very much just saying like, hey, we need to do some shots here, and he was like peer pressuring Dave into joining them. So I thought that was a fun scene. Besides that, there was, let's see here, he did the presentation for Taka Taka tires, which just was kind of embarrassing, and then his father just looked down on him, I guess. So just C tier. I'm gonna go. This is, who is this? This was the high school volleyball teammate of Kyla, who she was kind of a not a great person, very much was mean to Kyla. So D/F here. This is this dude's, I forgot his name, but his father basically don't really care for him either. He just was involved with like making the deal for Taka Taka tires. He's also was just disappointed in him. I forgot, what is his name? Let me just hear. Who does Bobby Lee play in Tires this year? He was, okay, it might not load, but anyway, let's leave that there loading. So yeah, he was embarrassed because his son just made like a really crappy presentation for the tires, and so I don't think this is gonna load, so I'm just not even gonna bother. Anyway, this is Thatcher, I want to say. This was the cousin of Frank, who was like a white nationalist that Frank took down because he was an FBI informant. I don't know, he was just this like crazy dude that seemed very threatening, so and he's a white nationalist, so decided up here. These are the business people that show up, like they created the conflict at like the cliffhanger kind of, one of the cliffhangers, like season 3 has a lot of cliffhangers, I guess, but one aspect of season 3 was that like now there's this new tire business that's coming into town. They offer to buy out Valley Forge Auto Center, but Will and Shane refuse, and so now they're going to probably be like pretty big business rivals to them in season 4. So so far we didn't really see much of them. Like they just kind of threaten them a bit. So I don't really care for them too much, but I'm sure hopefully they'll get a bit more developed in season 4, I'll say. So, and then finally, this was the final love interest of Shane, just another love interest. Yeah, it's the producer of the show that Shane and Will went on, and Shane kind of spoke to her a bit. There was a bit of chemistry there, and then there was the whole pregnancy ordeal where Lucy writes to Shane on live TV that she's pregnant. So I doubt that this is going to end up going anywhere. Maybe she will show up again. Maybe something will come of her, but for now, she's fine. C tier I'll give her because I liked her better than Jill, I'll say that. And yeah, I don't know, just Lucy, it seems like they're kind of focusing more on her. So yeah, overall, I'm just gonna give her C tier, I'll say. So yeah, so we'll do side style, I guess, we'll go for the B tiers because I don't know, these ones are a lot less prominent, so they're a lot closer, I would say. But we'll do side style for the B tiers. So yeah, let's say, who did I like best? Okay, I'll go probably, I think Ryan, then the Italians, I'll say. And I think I liked Andy a bit more than Tommy, I would say. Then we'll go Phil, then Cal, maybe? By the way, I'll move Kalila just to be nice. I'll move her to the top of the C tier. I'll go Cal, I'll say then, and then we'll go with probably, yeah, HR woman, then DeRosa, Lucy, Barb, Secret Chopper. I think that is good, I would say. Yeah, A tiers, who do I like better, Will or Shane? That is a good question because I do think that both of them are really good in season 1 and season 2, and I do think that they get both a bit worse in season 3, I'll say. So who do I like better? I think, honestly, Shane is consistently a bit better. Like, it's one of those situations where it's like, I think Will is a bit better than Shane in season 1 and 2, but in season 3, it's like Shane is like consistently on this level the entire way through. I don't know how to... Shane is like consistently like this. Will is like this, and then kind of like dips in season 3 a bit below where Shane is, just consistently like in the middle. So I don't know if I portrayed that well, but okay, actually I have my whiteboard here. Maybe I can do a little visual here. Here we go. There. This is Will. Okay, I don't know if you can see it that well, but this is Will. He starts off good, ends up getting worse. Okay, I didn't mean to draw there, but then this is Shane, where he's like just consistently good. So okay, that was a, yeah. Hopefully that I got the point across. So I think I would probably say that, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm leaning a bit towards Will, so I will go with my instinct. I am going to say that Will, I did like a bit more. I will say I think that just Will Steven Gerbert's performance. I think I really loved his. It's just the way he portrayed Will, I would say. But Shane was also very good. So both of them like about the same level, but I still think that ultimately Will was just a slight bit better, maybe, but that could change in season 4, I guess. But yeah, I'm leaning a bit more towards Will, I would say. And then for the S tiers, I'm gonna go with Dave. He is just more prominent than Pete's. Pete is still very funny in all the scenes that he's in, but Dave is just very funny and he's more prominent. So I'm going to give the winner, the number 1 character, is Dave in my opinion. So yeah, so this is my Tires character tier list. And so if you have any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, manga, web series, anything that you want me to review or rank or compare rankings, it does not have to be media related, it could be anything. Leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. But that said, that is pretty much all there is to it, so let's leave it at that.